Welcome into the October 14th episode of the Locked On Leafs podcast. I'm Mike DiStefano with Dave Morassutti. 0-82, not on the table for the Maple Leafs. They get their first victory of the year in the season opener against the Washington Capitals. We'll break it all down and tee up Leaf Sens going down Saturday night as well. All that more coming up on today's edition of Locked On Leafs.
You're Locked On Maple Leafs, your daily podcast on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Leafs podcast, your one-stop shop for all things Leafs. I'm your host, Mike DiStefano from TSN 1050 Toronto Radio, also known as Al's brother on TSN's Overdrive and TSN 1050's Leafs Lunch. Joining me, it's my co-host Dave Morassutti from Sportsnet, also a writer for the NHLPA. Locked On Leafs is a daily Maple Leaf-centric podcast, so be sure to subscribe for free wherever you get your podcast from. You can also now catch us up on video format. Just look up Locked On Leafs on YouTube and hit subscribe. We got new videos, new content coming out to you guys each and every day, Monday through Friday, 5 episodes at minimum a week. So if you're a diehard Leaf fan, gotta be subbed up to Locked On Leafs. David, victory clap. Victory clap for the Buds. What do you think? Nice little dub tonight. Maple Leafs go and they take care of business in their home opener against the Washington Capitals. I thought that there was a pretty good response from the team tonight. And, the score wasn't necessarily as lopsided as maybe people wanted to see, perhaps. But overall, I thought that they played a pretty good game and came away with a full 2 points.
Well, that game. Sorry, that effort is probably something the players should be more proud of.
Yes.
Like, they actually put in an effort. You saw that they weren't just going with the motions in this game. They were taking it right to the Capitals. I mean, how many shots they have in the first period? 21?
22 shots in the first period. I mean, they were down 2-1, but 22 shots. Like they were all over them, and they had some really good opportunities as well.
Yeah, that was the big thing, is that they were all over Washington. They
had 17 scoring chances in the first period, 11 high danger chances in the first for the Maple Leafs. 11 high danger chances in the opening 20-minute frame. Expected goals of 2.35. Like, if it wasn't for Charlie Lindgren kind of standing on his head a little bit, I mean, that could have been like a 3. That they could have been up. They could have had 3 goals in the first period alone, based on expectation and relative numbers.
I honestly forgot that Charlie Lindgren was even on the Capitals.
So
and then you saw his
numbers.
And you're just like, why isn't this guy a backup for like any other team in the league? He's actually not a bad backup goaltender. Like that, like you think of like a backup goal, you think of Charlie Lindgren, and I remember him back from when he was with Montreal, but
yeah.
Charlie Lindgren's actually not a terrible backup. And he kept them in it for quite a bit.
Remember his first couple of games in Montreal, like his first 5 games in the NHL. I think he may have like had a shutout one of his first couple games, and he looked solid. I'll say that. But I recall, so I was working with the Brampton Beast at the time, and our play-by-play guy, Chris Ballard, I think he's still the play-by-play guy for the Newfoundland Growlers, actually, the Toronto ECHL affiliate. Yeah. And I remember him telling me he at the time, I mean, he probably still is, like he was a Flyers fan. And I remember him telling me, oh, this kid's going to be a good goalie. I would give up a first-round pick just to get that goaltender in Philadelphia. They need a goalie bad. This is pre-Carter Hart days. And, safe to say, good thing they didn't give up a first-rounder. Decent backup, but, I mean, yeah, good thing they didn't. I don't know why I decided to share that story, but that's Charlie Lindgren. I always think of my guy, Chris Ballard, current play-by-play voice of the Newfoundland Growlers. But, no, to get back to tonight before we get way too down a rabbit hole here, I thought this was a really solid game, and probably the most encouraging thing, and we'll get to our 3 stars of the night because it's a victory. We do our 3 stars each time the Maple Leafs win. But I think it's really encouraging that we're 2 games in and the best players on the ice haven't been Matthews and Marner. I think it's encouraging that the 2 best players have been Nylander and Tavares.
Yes.
And you could say like, oh, it's terrible. Like Matthews and Marner need to be better. The good thing is they will be better, and you know that. But at least Nylander and Tavares, they are clicking right now. They look in the first period. They both had 5 shots on goal in the first period alone. I had shot props on tonight's game. They cashed in the first period. It was awesome. It was great. Tavares scored, the opening goal of the game, a little backdoor feed on the power play. I just think that it's really encouraging to see those two in particular playing at a high level a couple games in, which is also kind of stellar when you think about it. John Tavares, 2 weeks ago, we didn't even think he was going to be playing in this game. Thought he was going to miss the first week, miss the first 4 or so games of the season. He's been the Leafs' second best player.
Yeah, I know he really has been. And, you get worried if he gets snake bitten and if that's going to cause any sort of, slump to start the season. No, he's been that line. The thing is about last year's, like, it was so weird because we knew that they were better than what they were playing. We saw it.
Their expected numbers were a lot better. Like I think their expected goal for percentage was like 54%, but the actual was closer to I think 47 or 46%. So their expectations, like based on the process, was high. They just got a lot of bad puck luck.
And I think what I like about it is that they're sticking to the process. They're not deviating. They know what their strengths are and they're pushing with it. Like that goal he scored, beautiful play by Riley, but it's also JT being in the right spot and not overthinking the play, just knowing what he needed to do there. Nylander, for me, it's like he is just all over the ice.
He is.
All over the ice. I got a little worried there when I think it was Gio that took him out.
Oh, took that little tumble.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, not Willie. Willie doesn't get hurt. This is not good. And then he looked to be okay, but no, they've actually brought like a spark. They bring energy. That's not something you could say from that second line last year. I think that's the big one. There's every team's now going to be keying in on that first line. I said this. Every team is going to be looking to shut down that top line. Can the second line take advantage? They so far have been.
Absolutely. I'll read out the analytics, the stats so far with that trio out there on the ice tonight, according to Natural Stat Trick. Those 3 at 5-on-5 were out there for 9 minutes and 28 seconds, which was about just a minute less at 5-on-5 than the Matthews line. But in that time, they outshot their opponents 11-5. 11-5, they outshot the Washington Capitals. And you look at the expected numbers, 69%, which led the entire forward core, all of these lines at that's right, 69% expected goals percentage, 8 scoring chances between the 3 of them, a couple of high danger chances, and only 63% zone starts, which is a little high, but that's what you want with this team, like this lineup, this trio, this second line. They're not going to be your defensive specialists. You know that. So you're expecting them to play in the offensive end. And when they are there, win the draw, which is something that John Tavares has always been very keen on. And then just sustain pressure, apply pressure, keep moving the puck around, filter pucks on goal. And that's exactly what they're doing. And they're getting good looks, good opportunities. Dennis Mulligan, I think, has looked good through 2 games. I see absolutely no reason to even worry about thinking about removing Dennis Mulligan off that line or bringing up Nick Robertson. I think he's fit in perfectly there. It's only been 2 games. There's still a long runway to go for him to remain on that second line, but so far so good out of that group. What did you think about the response from the big boys? Because, Tavares and Nylander, they got going against Montreal, right? That was, again, the best line of the night, but that top line, very silent in Montreal. Did you like the response, at least, that you saw to those guys tonight with Mitch and Austin?
I thought Austin Matthews was just an animal. Like, he was hitting guys. Like, that hit on Hathaway. He had another one later in the game.
MVP. Nothing gets that building rocking like Austin Matthews laying the boom. Nothing. Yes. Like, he scored a goal. It turned out to be the game winner. Now, granted, people in the stands, I guess, didn't know that it was tipped in front while watching it live. Like we didn't know either up in the media gondola until we saw the replay. But even when they announced the goal from Austin Matthews, that didn't get the MVP chant. It was a hit, a bone-crushing hit along the boards is what gets the MVP chant. It's what got a Go Leafs Go chant right after that. Like, that's what pumps up this crowd. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty certain if you go and look at the statistics tonight and you look in the hits column, oh, there it is. Austin Matthews, 5 hits on the night, which was tied for second most on the team. Nicolas Aube-Kubel laid 6 hits himself tonight, which led the team. But Austin Matthews, 5 hits. You love to see it. You love to see it.
That's what makes Austin Matthews just that much better. When he's engaged physically, he's miles away a better player, in my opinion. He's got the size, he's got the physicality to do it. Obviously, you got to pick your spots, and you don't want him to be getting himself in a position where he gets hurt because he's laying down the body too much. But it annoys the other team when he does it. It like he gets under their skin because it hurts when you get a hit from Austin Matthews. He's not going in there with a light tap. He's going in there with you're going to be knocked down to the ground.
Well, he had 2 big hits in the game. I'm not sure if the television caught the other hit because it was a little bit behind a play, but he went, was it Faherty, maybe?
Yeah.
Was that who it was?
You kind of saw it in the corner of your eye if you were watching it on the broadcast.
It was right before the goal, right? So that was right before, I think, the 2-1 goal. He goes out, lays a hit, and then and there was a little bit of a skirmish, and then Bunting goes to stick up for his guy, but by doing that, kind of left his assignment in Washington, whoever the Washington player was, and they ended up scoring very shortly after. But there was 2 big hits that Austin laid tonight, which I thought was awesome. Because again, when he is engaged physically, you're right. That's typically when he's at his best. And he had a couple of good opportunities, a couple of good rips. The 1 goal was a terrible goal, right? A little tip that climbed up Charlie Lindgren and fell to Matthews was literally laughing. If you saw, he was laughing. It's like, I can't believe that went in. Like, that should not be a goal. Well, this is the old Tommy Salo. Just climbs up the shoulder, falls back, and just crawls its way into the back of the net and ends up being the game winner. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll continue to break the game down on the other side. We'll get to our 3 stars of the night, and then also we'll tee up a little bit with Sens Leafs, which is going down Saturday night in Toronto. You listen to the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. And today's show is brought to you by BetOnline.net. It's your number 1 source for football betting and hockey betting this season. Find all the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, and in-depth articles and analysis on every game you find. And as always, BetOnline remains your continued source for all your sport wagering information with live betting and up-to-the-minute scores for every sport out there. The fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite games and events, including MLB, NHL, boxing, MMA, even golf. You can head to BetOnline.net or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, it's where the game starts. I'm Mike DiStefano with David Morassutti. You're listening to the Locked On Leafs podcast, and big time 3-2 win. Maple Leafs get their first victory of the season. David, they did not change the goal song. They stuck with Hall & Oates. They did it. They did. For a second, I was thinking in the back of my mind, because after we saw Tavares score the opening goal, boom, right away, you hear Hall & Oates, you're like, they didn't change it. And then I thought to myself, I think actually I tweeted it out too. I said, hold on, what if the Maple Leafs were doing individual goal songs, and for some sick sadistic reason, Tavares chose to stick with Hall & Oates? Let's wait for another goal to happen and then see what song is played. And then Aube-Kubel scored his backdoor feed and cue Hall & Oates, and got our answer. Definitely sticking with making your dreams come true, which, again, I don't hate as much as most people. I was there kind of moving and shaking a little bit when that goal horn went off. I don't mind it. I would have liked to have a different song, but I don't hate it as much as most.
And a new anthem singer, because I don't know if this is a permanent.
She was good.
Not bad. I could tell there was some nerves, especially during Canada.
Mm-hmm.
There was some nerves there. But I can't remember who I saw online. Somebody was giving flack to Martin Ortiz, and I'm like, how do we get somebody canceled on Twitter? You do not get to speak of any ill towards Martina Ortiz Luis.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Everybody go cancel that person. Go do your thing. Woke culture, get after it. All right.
But hold on, before we break down this more, how are we not going to bring up
Oh,
big
God.
surprise? Now, I didn't know until I saw on Twitter because it didn't happen we didn't see it on TV.
Oh, yeah, because it was in between a commercial
In
break.
between commercials. So I see all the bunch of tweets, The Rock, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What is going on here? And then we eventually see the video, and I'm just like,
Do we have the video? Yeah, let's play this
You
here.
got
Because I was in the building, right? So I was there up in media row, sitting next to, I think Kristen Shilton was on my left. I had Chris Johnson on my right. And I look up and like I was typing, I don't know, whatever I was typing, just some notes on my computer. And I look up and I see this on the screen. And this is what ensued here at Scotiabank Arena at the home opener during one of the TV timeouts.
So much that I can't carry them. So I called in a favor from a friend. Let's see if he can make it. Let's see. Is he here? Is he here? Was he able to make it? Did he catch the flight? Is he here? Is he in the building? Dwayne Johnson is in the building. And he's a Leaf fan, baby. What's up, Toronto?
So the unfortunate part is that
Did they not get the chant?
I can't find a proper clip of the chant.
Oh my God, that was the cringiest part. So you haven't seen the chant?
I've seen the chant. Like I you know what? I saw the bit, but it's like a 3-second bit. The one I saw. I can't find the proper one. The other ones I saw
Probably.
were terrible quality. I wasn't a fan of the quality.
Okay, so if you haven't seen it, The Rock came out and he's like, Toronto holds a special place in my heart, and I got one thing to say. And I thought he was gonna go like, Toronto, can you smell what the Leafs are cooking or something like that? I thought that would have been perfect if he did that. Like that would have been like the pop would have been awesome, to use a wrestling reference. But no, he does. This guy does a "Let's go Leafs" chant. Let's go Leafs. Let's go. I'm like, what? It's go Leafs go. What are you talking about? Let's go Leafs. It was so cringy. Like we're sitting up there and we're like, oh my God, nobody told him that it's go Leafs go.
That's like whoever is like there's producers in charge of in-game entertainment. That person should get a tongue lashing for that. Because now I knew he was in.
He could have forgot. I mean, he could have forgot, I guess.
I mean, he kind of gets caught up in the moment and things like that. But I knew he was in town because his new movie's coming out. He's doing like a big Cineplex tour. He was in Toronto for an event that I tried to get tickets for, didn't get them.
Actually, yeah, I had a buddy who was he there tonight as well? Actually,
because he was literally at the what do they call it? It's that
Scotiabank Theater.
No, it's right across the street from Rogers Center. What do they call it?
Rec Room.
Rec Room. He was there.
Yes, I did see that.
So he was at the Rec Room, which is literally down the road.
And then must have went right over to
Yeah.
Scotia or vice versa. Went to Scotia and then back to the Rec Room. Either way,
but yeah,
it was
that was a fail on the people who were supposed to organize that. Literally, just say, "Can you get us like a Go Leafs Go chant?" Or can you smell what the Leafs are cooking?
I thought that would have been perfect. That would have been great if he popped that out of his ass. I thought he was, and he didn't. It was a "Let's go Leafs." So We're not doing the good, the bad, the ugly today because it's a Maple Leafs victory podcast, but that constitutes as the ugly tonight. The Rock with his "Let's Go Leafs" chant. Oh, it was brutal. Absolutely brutal. Let's talk about some of the good, though, that we saw in tonight's game, because we didn't get to do a whole lot of that yesterday in the loss of the hat to the
we weren't too happy. I wasn't too happy.
No, we weren't. So why don't we chat about it as we do on each and every post-game show we do here on the podcast, Dave. It's our 3-star segment. Why don't you start off with your 3rd star of tonight's game?
3rd star of the game, I got to get, first goal as a Leaf, got to give it to my boy Callie.
That boy Callie, though, as Marshawn Lynch says, my guy.
I watched that YouTube video a few times after the Callie Yarncroke goal.
Dude, I watch that every single day, to be honest with you. Not going to lie. It's one of my favorite clips. I have it as a drop on Leafs Lunch because I love that video. But anyways, yeah, Callie Yarncroke, his first as a Maple Leaf.
Just a great play going to the net. The pass by Kirk.
Great pass. Oh, great feed. He had a good game, like a really solid game.
Yeah, they needed it because they were not very good yesterday. Like that third line was like not invisible.
They were kind of black.
Yeah, they didn't really
do anything. No, you're right.
So I like that. I like the bounce back. I like the Kerfoot starting to show a little chemistry. Pierre Engvall made a decent play to kind of open up Yarncroke to get the tip as well. He kind of pulled the defender away from him.
Not only pulled the defender, I think he may have also got a little bit of a stick lift to just leave enough space underneath for that puck to glide across the ice. I think he did get a little lift in there. I'll give him some credit there. No, we bashed on him yesterday, but I'll give him some credit. I think he was he made a play tonight. He wasn't like outstanding today, but he certainly was better. And he didn't like shoot himself in the foot like he did a lot in the other game. But overall, yeah, I really like that third line and give some love to the goal scorer, Callie Yarncroke. Love it. My 3rd star of the game, it's more of a situational thing, but Ilya Samsonov after the first period.
Yeah.
First period, I was like, that second goal was not bueno. Like,
even the first goal,
right through him. I'm like, dude, that's tough. Like, after watching, a couple of tough goals last night. Well, there's only really one tough goal, the second Caulfield one. But, after seeing Murray get lit up for 4 on 23 shots last night, and then seeing, the first period effort where that was a really tough goal, that second one that just literally went right through him. I was like, oh no, like what are we going to have in store for us today? Then he shut it down. Like he locked it down and played well in the second and third period. And it's not like the team wasn't giving anything up. Like Washington was pressing, and there was actually like a lot of power plays too that he had to kill. And well, it's what they say, that your goaltender is your best penalty killer. But if you look at the second and third period, second period in particular, like the Capitals absolutely won that period, and on the score sheet, or not on the score sheet, but they won the period in the analytics game. Like ended up with 6 high danger chances and expected to score a goal, expected to score almost 2 goals in the second and third period, and they got 0. So a solid bounce back effort after a tough first period out of Ilya Samsonov. So I did want to give him a shout out and give him my 3rd star. What did he finish tonight? 24 stops? Yeah, 24 stops on 26 shots, 923 save percentage against his former team. A little bit of a revenge game for him. I think that he'd be happy with his performance. He's getting my 3rd star.
Very, very deserving. I wasn't a fan of the second goal. I was just like, even when I talked with Dan Homey of Locked On Capitals, that was something he said. He'll make an amazing save at one point and then just give up an absolute stinker the other. And I was like, oh, at least I've seen enough of that. Like, let's hope that gets out of his system. Yeah. But I like the fact that it happened early, just because it gave him a chance to bounce back and settle in. I'd rather him give up goals like that early in the game because you get a chance to come back, rather than late and it be an absolute like party pooper and you're just not able to recover from it.
Oh, absolutely. Because now you've got if you're gonna blunder, do it in the first, because then you got 2 periods to make up for it. Whereas if you blunder in the third, it's like, okay, you got 2 minutes now to make up for it. Like a couple of big stops, like in the second period, Ovechkin ended up with, was it 3 shots on goal, I think, on that one power play. That was really the only time Ovi actually like showed up on my radar. I was chatting with CJ beside me, and I'm like, man, this guy's been awfully quiet tonight. And I had some shot props on Ovechkin. I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, hey, why isn't this guy finding the net? Like, let's go. Let's start firing shots on goal. He did hit it, by the way. Just hit it with getting a 4 shot late in the third period off of that, late penalty, I might add. But yeah, I thought that Samsonov, a couple of good stops on him. There's the one in the third period also on Anthony Mantha in the slot. Big save to keep that 3-2 lead after they had taken the lead. That was a big stop as well. And that's what you need, right? Those timely saves, like that's exactly what you need. And the Leafs got it tonight. Didn't get it last night, but they got it tonight, so that's good. Your second star.
I mean, I gave him some love earlier, so I have to have him as a star, and that's Austin Matthews. Just the hit, not just the hits. I think he had right here 5 shots on. No, that was 5 shots on goal, 5 hits, and a block shot.
Mm-hmm.
And he only played 18 minutes. I was a little surprised to see. Ice time was pretty.
Night 2 on a back-to-back. I think you want to kind of roll through your lines a little bit. That's the beauty of having the depth that they have, is that they can roll through the lines and have a guy like who they play. You look at their fourth liners like Abe Kubel. Only 9 minutes. I guess he's not a good one, but
like Cal Yarncroke had
11 minutes. You had David Camp played 15 minutes. A lot of it on the PK, I suppose. He'll pick up some extra minutes, but like Engvall ended up playing over 11 minutes. So, I think it's just the depth that this team has where they can kind of do that on second nights of a back-to-back.
Yeah, the only thing I would say about that top line, they got to get a little bit better defensively. They've been hung out. They've hung themselves out to dry a little bit defensively.
Yeah.
But at least they're still chipping in offensively.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Austin Matthews clearly is up there. He might show up a little later in mine, but I do want to give some love to the penalty kill. Another perfect night for the Maple Leafs penalty kill. They went 4 for 4 for the second consecutive night today. Or sorry, 5 for 5. I forgot they got that late one. 5 for 5 on the penalty kill tonight. And there was a couple of good looks, but overall there wasn't a whole lot, and they did a really good job of getting in the shooting lanes. And dare I give some love to Justin Hall? Dare I give love to Justin Hall for that big block late in the game on Alex Ovechkin? Or how about that stick check with like 6 seconds left when it was 6-on-4? I might give a little bit of love to him on the PK. Thought he played well on the penalty kill tonight.
Tell me though, when you saw Ovechkin going up against Hall and Muzzin, what were your thoughts?
That was my thought. I was like, oh god. No, but dude, they contained him. Like outside of the power play, he was silent tonight. Like, can you think of one rush chance or one opportunity, like anywhere where he ended up getting some free space and getting some shots off? Like, I legitimately cannot outside of the power play. I don't think he had a single shot at 5-on-5. I'll double check that, but based on my memory, completely eerily silent tonight. He was a ghost, an absolute ghost. 0 shots at 5-on-5 through 12 minutes. 0. Had a .05 individual expected goals tonight. .05. That's tied. It's less than Nick Jensen. He had less expected goals tonight than Nicholas Jensen, for Pete's sake. So, hey, I thought they did a really good job of shutting down Alex Ovechkin. I'll definitely give him credit for that.
I did like there was a hit that Muzzin threw at one point in the game. I don't know who he got near the bench.
Oh, was it Hathaway?
It might have been Hathaway. I love that they went after him. He's a guy you just.
Who did he hit? I believe. Yeah, it was Hathaway. Yeah.
So yeah, like that's you need to see from Jake Muzzin. You need to see more of that from him. It's not a bad choice. The penalty kill is. You're going to need your special teams to be solid throughout the year. new goalies, make it a little easier on them as well. Play some solid PK. So yeah, no, not a bad night for the PK. So
did I give? Oh, it's your first star now,
my
right?
first star. He didn't have the best game defensively, but he got the party started, and that's Mr. Morgan Riley. Like that pass on the John Tavares goal, just Italian kiss.
Chef's kiss,
Chef's
Italian
kiss.
kiss, French kiss, whatever you want to do. Kiss, kiss. The band.
It was just a fantastic pass to get that goal. And then he's the one that got the Cal Yarncroke play started with a nice breakout pass to Kerfoot. You got to that's Morgan Riley at his best is when he's taking charge of the play offensively from the back end. That's what they pay Morgan Riley to do. I didn't think he had the greatest game in Montreal. He just kind of felt off. I thought this looked more like the Morgan Riley we're used to seeing. Yeah, defensively, that top pairing, like TJ Brody had some nice blocks, especially on Ovechkin on the penalty kill. 5-on-5, there's still a little bit of work to do on the defensive side, but I like the fact that Riley was a factor offensively. That's what they need Morgan Riley to be.
Yeah, I mean, the 62% of the shot share when they're out there on the ice together. 76 expected goal percentage when they were out there on the ice together tonight. So they didn't give up a single high danger chance either. So I thought that the blue line in general, actually, like top to bottom, had a much, much better game. Like last night, it was kind of, oh no, like is there an issue with this blue line? I mean, that top pairing or the shutdown pair of Muzzin and Hall, like that was the talk of the town today, right? Like that's what we led with on Leafs Lunch today. It's like, how can we go through a whole season with Muzzin and Hall? Is that even possible? Is it too early to suggest to break those guys up? And I actually want to give some credit to Sheldon Keefe here for not doing that because it gave them a chance to go out and prove it. And maybe he kept them together as a challenge to potentially, go out, have a game and prove to not only me, but the rest of the fan base that you guys are equipped for the job that we are handing you. And like you go look at tonight, Jake Muzzin, Justin Hall, 13 minutes, 34 seconds on the ice together, 63% Corsi rating, outshot their opponent when they were out on the ice 10-1. 10-1. They allowed one shot on goal at 5-on-5 when they were out there on the ice tonight. And a 78% expected goal rating, didn't allow a single high danger chance. And that's with having only 46% offensive zone start. So like that's 7 D zone faceoffs they had to take, allowed one singular shot at 5-on-5. I think you got to tip your hat off to Justin Hall and Jake Muzzin. Yeah, I think you really do have to do it with those two. They played well tonight. As much as you don't want to
can't get any worse.
Flowers, they played well tonight. I'll give them that. But that's not who my first star is. I guess that's my honorable mention. My first stars are just like the big boys in general, right? Matthews, Marner, Willie, Tavares. Those are the guys who need to be at their best in order for the Maple Leafs to win a lot of hockey games. And tonight you saw Willie and JT right from the get-go. Those two were fantastic tonight. Like I said, 5 shots apiece in the first period, and then it continued from there on. They put on the onslaught. And as for Marner and Matthews, they had a lot of opportunities too. Like that's a duo who got some chances. Later in the second, you started to see Matthews started dancing a little bit. You just knew he's going to score tonight. There's no way this guy's not scoring a goal tonight. Now, the one that he scored was not necessarily the prettiest goal. It's not something that'll be on his highlights at the end of the year, but it was a timely goal, and it stood as the game winner. And, it's just nice to see the big boys after a tough night come out and have a good response the way that they did, not only offensively, but defensively as well, right? Go back checking, forechecking, laying the body like we saw with Austin Matthews. Mitch Marner on the penalty kill had 2-3 good opportunities shorthanded, like early in the first, literally like was in all alone and had that backhand opportunity in that first period on the PK. So my first star, I'm giving it to the big boys, the core four, if you will.
All deserving of it. They didn't not much you can critique on their game. I thought, the PK looked. I think the best part of it is that they went back to being an offensive threat.
Power kill. The power kill.
Love that nickname.
It's a pretty good one. They outshot. Am I reading this properly?
Did they outshoot the Capitals? Maybe barely.
They might have outshot the Capitals. Oh, never mind. I'm just looking straight up at Jake Muzzin's stats. Although when Jake Muzzin was on the ice on the PK, they outshot the Washington Capitals. But I will look up individual statistics on the power play. Why can't I find this information? There it is. So on the power play, this is terrible radio. Absolutely terrible radio. They ended up with how many shots? 3 individual shots on the power play or on the PK. No, I can't find it right now. 3 shots. Mitch Marner had 3 shots on the penalty kill by himself. So, yeah, it just goes to show how lethal he was once again. All right, Dave, let's take a quick break and we'll get back. Just a couple of minutes, we'll chat about and tee up the Sens game. That's tomorrow. Because, I don't know, is there a goalie controversy? I don't know. Let's chat about it on the other side. I'm Mike DiStefano with Dave Morassutti. You're listening to the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Welcome back into the Locked On Leafs podcast. Mike DiStefano with David Morassutti. We're hosts here at Locked On Leafs, a daily Maple Leaf-centric podcast delivering you episodes each and every weekday, Monday through Friday. Brand new content, all Leafs, all the time. It'd be great if this is your first time listening to us, if you would toss us a like, a follow, a subscribe. All the above would be fantastic. Hopefully you enjoy the content and come back for more. Again, each and every day, Monday through Friday, now until the end of the season. And not just the season, the playoffs, free agency, draft, all that. So definitely follow along for your up-to-date Leafs coverage. Speaking of the Maple Leafs, Dave, they are back in action on Saturday night. The Battle of Ontario revs up with the Ottawa Senators in town. What expectations do you have out of that game?
The Senators are coming off a tough loss against the Sabres. We know how our boys over at Locked On Sens they're liking their chances this year. The Senators always play the Leafs tough. We know that. So I think you just got to be ready for whatever they throw. If the Leafs play with the effort they play against the Capitals, then you feel good about their chances on Saturday. Like the Leafs should beat the Senators. So I just think they got to be able to maintain that effort that they showed against Washington tonight, and then should feel good about their chances for against Ottawa.
You're rolling with Matt Murray, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I
don't want to hear about a goaltending controversy 2 games.
I don't either. Let me state that. But as I was walking out of the building, I got stopped by one of the usher guys, recognized me. He's like, "Oh, what'd you think of Samsonov's game?" I was like, "Oh, I thought that he played well after the first period. I thought he kind of, cleaned things up and played a lot better in the second half." He was like, "Yeah, I agree. You think he should start Saturday? I think they should start him on Saturday. He definitely looks like the better goalie." I'm like, whoa. We're talking about 1 game each of these guys, and you're already looking to go off routine. I mean, for months since we knew the schedule, we all knew it was going to be Murray game 1 against Montreal. Samsonov was going to get his revenge game against Washington. And then on the Saturday, the Senators, Murray was getting that revenge game against them. We're not veering away from that. No chance. Murray's going to start, and hopefully the Leafs have a much better performance in front of him, much in the way that they did in front of Samsonov tonight. because, I thought that the Leafs did a good enough job defending. And if they can give Murray that against the Senators, I think he'll be in good shape and won't be as much of a punching bag come Monday as he was for much of today.
Yeah, I know. I just think that the way they had those breakdowns against Montreal, it's just so unfair to Matt Murray to pin that loss completely on him. Now, if they play better defensively and he doesn't have a good game, you keep the rotation going. You just keep the rotation going until you feel like you have to go with one guy.
Yeah, I think that's probably what they'll do. Just kind of keep her going. Wait till someone gets hot, and then go from there. All right, give me your prediction, Dave. What do you think happens in this game tonight, Saturday night?
I'm gonna go with the Leafs win. I'm going to say 4-3.
You like it close, huh?
I
Close win. Regulation or OT?
I'll go regulation. I don't like the Leafs' chances really in overtime on the road in Ottawa. Like it'll be a decent crowd. Both. Maybe we'll actually see more Senators fans this time around in Ottawa. Maybe. Probably.
In Toronto. It's in Toronto.
Oh wait. Oh shoot. Sorry. Why did I think it was in Ottawa?
I
don't know. I just know it was Ottawa on Saturday. Did not even let's see where they were playing. Smart move on my part.
It's not like you cover the team on a daily basis or anything, David.
Yeah, no. That's gonna be call it a dang it moment over at Sportsnet. So I'm gonna give myself the dang it there. I think it's gonna be a close game, especially Ottawa in Toronto. They usually play the least tougher in Toronto.
Yeah, they do. They really do. But this is another opportunity. Although you can't really say that about Ottawa anymore. I was gonna say it's another opportunity to,
No, I
go
can't
in
say
there.
that anymore, Mike. We said that before. I'm not saying that again. I'm not putting myself in that position.
What position? What am I going to say?
Say, oh, this is a team that doesn't, on paper, you compare the two, the Leafs should be better, so they should easily win this game. Nope, not doing that.
Not easily, but I'm saying, in the past you could make the argument like don't play down to your opponent, but the Senators are a pretty formidable opponent now. Like that's what I was getting at. I was more so pumping the tires of Ottawa, to be quite honest with you. And I think it'll be a good competitive game. I'm happy that the Battle of Ontario is being reignited. I'm stoked. I'm ecstatic about it. I think that it's going to create a lot. I think like Matthews and Brady Tkachuk are just going to be in each other's faces. Michael Bunting. Here's a prediction for you. Bunting and Tkachuk drop the mitts.
I don't know. Bunting hasn't really dropped the mitts that much.
No, you're right. He'll chirp away though. Who's gonna come in for Bunting? I mean, it might have to be Muzzin, but I don't want to see Muzzin fight. This team has no Who do you think leads this team in fighting majors at the end of the year?
Oh, probably would be Bunting. I think really, if you think about it.
I mean, he doesn't fight.
Justin Hall.
When's the last time you seen Hall drop the mitts?
He's dropped them a few times.
It might be Muzzin. Zach Aston-Reese, does he fight much?
Yeah, I thought he was getting into a fight tonight. There was that one play in the corner.
Oh, yeah, they got into it a little bit. Yeah.
Maybe it could be Zach Aston. I don't know. It's not really the Leafs. I mean, it hasn't been the Leafs style, and it won't be with Simmons and Clifford not there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if BetOnline has a line for fight totals for the Maple Leafs this year, but no matter what the line is, probably taking the under. Don't think we'll see it happen a whole lot, but we'll see them get under the skin. We know that the Ottawa Senators and Brady Tkachuk, he loves to start beaking off, especially against Austin Matthews and Michael Bunting. So I'm excited. Those should be a fun game. Should be a good game. I believe 5-2. I'm going to go with a 5-2 victory. The fifth goal being an empty netter. That's my prediction. That is what I think will happen. All right. I think it's going to do it for today's podcast. Yeah, we're going about 45 minutes. It's probably good. A good time to call her a night here, pal. I'd like to thank everyone for listening and supporting the show. You can subscribe to the Locked On Leafs podcast on all podcast platforms and receive daily Leafs content. Follow myself on Twitter at Mick_Canuck. Follow Dave at D_Morassutti. We'll be back with another episode tomorrow. No, Monday. We'll be back on Monday. Tomorrow.
You can come back tomorrow.
No, I'll be back on Monday, pal. We will recap the game against the Ottawa Senators. And is it Monday? No. Yeah, it is on Monday. We got a game against the Yotes, I believe, Monday night. That will be either Monday or Tuesday.
Yes, it's on Monday.
Yeah, so Monday we'll be able to. I do know it's against Toronto. We gave away tickets to that game on Leafs Lunch, but so we'll be teeing up that game as well. Until then, keep it locked right here on Locked On Leafs.